All right, guys, let's connect today. I'm going to start a minute early for today, January 28th, 2024, to talk about The Walking Dead, the ones who live. And next 4 weeks away from the return of Rick and Michonne. So we'll just wait for people to join and everything too. So hopefully you're doing well. So like I said, we got 4 weeks, less than a month. And be here before you know it. It's like so close, yet so far, right? You know, like we still have the Super Bowl, and then a week, and then another week. Sorry, a Super Bowl, then a week, and then it's here for our premiere of The Ones Who Live. So we'll talk about that. Spoiler warning for all things Walking Dead if you're catching it on the replay, and we'll just get caught up with that. So like I said, I started a little bit earlier, so I'll wait for people to join. So for the next hour, we'll talk about The Ones Who Live, The Walking Dead, anything else you want to talk about, any shows or movies or anything like that, too, that you're watching or recommending. Yesterday was Gasparilla, but also Royal Rumble 2024. It was in St. Pete at the Tropicana Field where the Rays play. Pretty cool stuff, and I watched it because I watched some of it. I didn't actually watch the guys because that was the last thing there. I watched the women's Royal Rumble that started it, and then the fatal four-way match with Roman Reigns. Didn't watch the next match, and then the guys' Royal Rumble. So, hopefully you're safe and sound, staying warm or staying dry or whatever. I don't know if it's a cold front, warm front where you're living. But, so The Ones Who Live, we got like another trailer. So it took forever to get like anything from The Ones Who Live. Gimple, AMC, whoever the powers that be, right? So we get to see a trailer. Well, we saw like these little sneak clip things that were on Instagram and Facebook and everything. And then there was a teaser, and then a trailer, and then another trailer. And I'm guessing that's really it for like major things that are going to come from them. But I'm guessing we'll get some pictures from, Entertainment Weekly, maybe some information. So the first 3 episodes, I believe the first 3 episodes are out for the reviewers. So that was always curious about like the critics or people that review the shows and whatever. So the first 3 episodes are out, and it's called, the first one is Years, the second one is Gone, and the next one is Bye. So the first episode and the comic of The Walking Dead is Days Gone By. So this is Years, Gone, Bye are the first 3 episodes like that. Years, and Gone, and Bye. And all the episode run times are less than an hour. So there's a lot of speculation, a lot of talking. I've already seen it already. People not up to date on the news, and they're thinking, I heard the episode was going to be 90 minutes, and I heard it's going to be this, and I heard it's going to be that, and I heard there's going to be 2 seasons, and I heard it's going to be that. A bunch of speculation is going to be coming out. You know it's going to happen. It's getting closer and closer and closer and closer to it. So just be aware of the information going around. But the 90-minute thing, I don't think so. It'd be pretty amazing if it was, but I think it's 90 minutes on AMC. So they are allotting 90 minutes total runtime with commercials. I think it's 55 minutes and then 53 minutes and then 48 minutes. Just off the top of my head, I can't remember exactly what it is, but they're less than 60 minutes, which stinks. But I wasn't expecting over 60-minute runtime for the actual episode. So either way, it doesn't matter. Hopefully we're going to get a bunch of episodes, bunch of information, get caught up with stuff. And we did another second trailer breakdown that's highlighting some stuff potentially that happened with Rick. And, the information that's coming out with filming and production and call sheets and, footage and video and pictures from many months ago is starting to come out in the trailer, and we get to see how it's put together, and it's pretty awesome. We'll see how it works out for us as, viewers, and I think it'll be great because Rick, Michonne, it's just going to be good to see them. Now, I have some concerns, just like anybody, but I just hope that it feels like a rewarding 6-episode season. If it's 1 season, 2 season, a limited series, whatever they're calling for it, I'm just glad that they are showing it or getting it. Because remember way back when Rick went away, We were going to get movies. There was going to be 3 movies, and it was just going to focus on Rick. But now it's 6 episodes. We're going to have Michonne in it. We're going to have Jadis in it. We're going to have Rick. We're going to have Major General Beale. We're going to have all new characters. But what does it mean for the future of the characters? Are there going to be reunions? Are there going to be stuff that is going to be rewarding, exciting? We'll have to see. Brian asks Q&A, hey, Brian, why did AMC spoil Rick's hand in the new trailer? So they did, but they didn't. They show it, but they don't show it. It's quick, but if we have trailer breakdowns, it's there. It's just one of those things where they've been hiding it. And AMC has done this before. Like AMC and The Walking Dead have had stuff in their trailers that were spoilers. It's not anything new. Remember when there was the big, spoiler group that was talking about The Walking Dead and this and that, and they're like, how could they do this? How could you spoil the show? How come this? How come that? Well, they had a lot of stuff in trailers. They had a lot of stuff in interviews. They gave stuff away. They said this, they said that. And then Gimple is like the total opposite. Anytime he would talk, he's like, just making a bunch of noises and not give anything information. Like not even the slightest thing, not even any piece of information that would draw us in. He would just give us noises and not tell us anything. So he was the total opposite end of it. But it is what it is. The show's coming back. Well, the Walking Dead Universe with Rick and Michonne, not like the Walking Dead main show. But, Rick and Michonne will be back on our screens in our living rooms in 4 weeks, guys. That's like nothing, right? After all this time, after all these years, after Rick went away, what's he been doing? Where has he been? What's the timeline? Has he tried to get home? Has he been, it's just a lot of questions. And they can answer a lot of questions, but also what's the future of everything there too? Because Rick is great, but Rick with the group is amazing. Rick with Daryl is amazing. Rick working with our group is amazing. And that's what we want. We want to have big payoffs. So I don't know what the future of it is. I don't know if they're going to do stuff later on down the road. Will Rick and Michonne survive? Will this happen? Will that? But James, hey man, what is your least favorite spinoff series? It's Fear the Walking Dead. I mean, Fear the Walking Dead is just terrible. It's just total nonsense. The World Beyond is amazing compared to Fear the Walking Dead, in my opinion. I feel like World Beyond should have been 5-6 seasons, and Fear the Walking Dead should have been 3-4 seasons, and then done. And Tales of the Walking Dead is too short to really be anything, but there's at least some connections with the Walking Dead, and that's all I want, right? I want connections with the Walking Dead universe. Don't do a show that is just the Walking Dead in the name, and that's the connections. And then you force connections, and then it feels forced, and it is forced, and stuff doesn't connect. But yeah. Brian, did you see the CRM helicopter over the burning city? Is that really Atlanta or another city? So there's a great question, Brian. Well, so there's a lot of talk about that, and there's a lot of speculation, a lot of this. So to me, it doesn't look like the city. It doesn't look like Atlanta. It doesn't look like anything like that too, but how could you tell, right? So is it, more people think it's the Commonwealth than Atlanta, and I don't think it makes any connection with Atlanta because it just seems like the cornfields or something. I just seeing the scene in my head right now as the helicopters fly towards the burning area. Is it just like a little community? Is it connected? Because I would love for major connections. We were looking and waiting and wanting and just craving connections with the Walking Dead universe, with CRM, Commonwealth, all these people there too. There's just a lot of stuff that could have been connected. And Jeannie says it could be, maybe it's Portland. It could be. I would love for it to be like the Commonwealth when they blew up a lot of the Commonwealth, to have the walkers, to blow up the walkers and blow up stuff with the drums of oil and whatever, the gasoline stuff. That would be I would love to see that. But I don't know if that's going to be what it is. Like, I don't think it's a lot to ask for connections, reunions, stuff that we want to see. But I don't know what their ultimate plan is, right? Like, if we don't know if there's going to be another series or another season or another spinoff or another thing, like, if this is it, they better have major reunions. We better see Rick connected with a lot of things. Rick needs to see Judith and meet RJ and all these things. And if it doesn't if these are the last 6 episodes, the last 6 times that we're going to see Rick Grimes and or Michonne, it needs to be rewarding, exciting, and just fan service. It doesn't have to be, but in my opinion, you wrote so if it was going to be the Rick Grimes movies, that was season 9, episode 5. That was like so many years ago that Rick went away. And then the COVID happened, and then this happened, and that happened. And they were like, oh, well, we're working on it. We're working on it. We're writing on it. We're working on it. We're working on it. We're working on it. Blah, blah, blah. We're working on it. Like all this crap. You don't know what the plan is. You don't know what the thing is. Like, you don't know how it's going to be for them. Like, it just doesn't make sense at this stage in the game. I don't know what is going on for it. But hopefully it makes sense. Denai, Andy are connected with it. They're probably going to make a bunch of money from this show because they're executive producers and they're this and they're starring in it. So that's where you make the big money. When you write, direct, star, executive produce, whatever. If you do multiple hats in shows, that's where you make the most money out of stuff. Just being an actor, you can make a lot of money too, but you want to be connected with all aspects of it. And it's just pretty awesome as well. Or as many aspects as you can too. So. But, yeah. So that's what's going on with that. We got a trailer. And to me, it just jumps out that Rick loses his left hand. Right? Does he chop it off himself? Does Major General Beale do it as punishment? Is it happening? Does it not? Is it a dream? Are they messing with us? Are they, whatever? But either way, we'll find out the start of it in 4 weeks. Because he's going to have his left hand, I would assume, at some point, and then he's going to lose it at some point, right? I mean, I'm guessing as how it goes too. So, but no word about the Daryl Dixon season 2 show. I believe they're done filming. The Dead City season 2. The word has been for a little bit now that they're going to start filming in March. So once we get news about that, we'll share photos and everything there too. And I would love for that to have connections as well. I would love for Dwight and or Sherry to show up in that show. I would love for stuff because if it's a Negan and Maggie show and they're kind of doing their own thing, who are characters that would connect with Negan and Maggie? I don't really know. I mean, besides the people from the Commonwealth and the people that we know, anyone could show up. And I think that show needs another character to help out a little bit. Like Maggie, to me, is the weak point of the show. Negan really carried the first season. What's going to happen going forward is, are we going to get some other cameos, some other people in there too? Could Aaron and the Commonwealth show up? What's going to happen for the battle for the city with the Dama, Croat, this, that? I mean, there's a lot of big questions. The New Babylon Marshals. There's a lot of stuff left on the table, which, it's pretty cool to think about it, but I don't know. The Daryl Carroll show, we'll have to see, what's going to happen there. Lydia, Elijah, they could show, it'd be pretty cool. There would be stuff they could bring around and show, but I don't know what their plan is. And I just feel like, I hope they're not doing this, but I feel like they're kind of winging it. Like, okay, the main show is over. This is uncharted territory with Maggie and Negan, Rick and Michonne, Daryl Carroll. What are they going to do? Right? Like, what's the future of it? Well, we'll just do a little bit over here. We'll do a little things over there. We're still waiting for the Daryl connection with the French CDC. I would love for him to get all that information and to connect the dots a little bit. Like I don't know. Like, what do you guys think is the end, the true end game of the Walking Dead universe? Like the final episode or the final movie or the final part or the final everything? Like, what is the final end game of that stuff? Because in the comic, it's the Commonwealth. It's Carl. It's, Michonne. it's stuff happening at the Commonwealth. Michonne's a judge, and Carl's this, and with Sophia and their daughter, and so it's like that's the kind of the end. The walkers are kind of dying out, and like, is it always going to be like 1 billion walkers to the very end? Like, what's it going to be with that too? Like, eventually, the walkers need to start dying off less and less. There's going to be less and less of them, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be, and they can do whatever they want. But to me, the most satisfying ending, the end game, would be the battle between CRM and everybody. CRM versus the world. CRM versus the Commonwealth, Hilltop, Alexandria, Rick, Michonne, Walking Dead, World Beyond, Fear the Walking Dead, Morgan, whoever, everybody and anybody versus Major General Beale, Jadis, whoever else they want to bring in. Like, I think that I would just love to see that too. Like, the fall of them would have to be the CRM goes down, the Civic Republic comes in and steps in and says, look, they were acting outside of our, I don't know, authority, and they have to be taken down. Thank you so much for doing what we couldn't do, because Major General Beale became power hungry, and they have the guns, the weapons, the people, the power. And I think they need to start showing that, is that there's a resistance of the Civic Republic versus the military. And I'm hoping that's what's seen in that as a writer, I would write it that way. And I don't know if that's the end game or if they're just trying to do it, but there's been some talk that if you haven't seen World Beyond, you don't have to watch World Beyond to understand the Rick and Michonne Ones Who Live show, but it will help out. And why not watch it? Right? Like, there's some decent moments in there too. Like, the first season is far too long. It's there's 20 episodes total, and I wish there should have been 10 episodes total. Like, the first 4 episodes are nonsense, and 6, 7, or at least 7, I think 7, 8, 9, and 10. The last 4 episodes are pretty good in the first season. The second season, I wish they connected things more. But you bring Jadis around, you bring the connections for it, and the Hope, Iris, Dr. Bennett, just Silas. There's connections there that could be connected too. So, Brian asks Q&A. You think we'll see the CRM rebellion civil war? I hope so. I hope there's a CRM resistance that's going to go against them to take them down from the inside. Because if you think about it, Rick and Michonne are 2 people. And if Michonne has a group of people that are like the pioneers, do they have guns? Do they have weapons? Do they have power? Do they have explosives? Do they have strategy? Can they actually go up against the military? Right? Like, it's just like, But if you have people on the inside and you have people that can help you, it just makes more sense. It just... That's kind of what you have to help overthrow things, people from the inside too. So the Jadis is clearly in the second trailer much more than the first trailer. You see her for like a second when she's pointing a gun at someone in the woods. So I hope that she is some sort of character that is beneficial to the story. She and Rick are connected because she saved Rick. And if you think about Jadis, they gave this woman, an unknown character that's just for the show, a lot of power. What's up, guys? Phantom, Zenith, everybody joining. Thank you guys for being here. But they gave her a lot of power. Like, she could have killed Rick, but she saved Rick. She could have killed Father Gabriel or sent him to, become an A or a B or whatever. She could have killed Negan, sent him to be an A or a B or whatever. And, she was involved with so many big things. And it's crazy to think that this character is connected with so many aspects of it that seem forced. Like, the CRM stuff seems like kind of forced, but the talking, the dialogue, the connections, she ranked up like super fast in World Beyond. Like, she goes from being a painter, an artist, a cult leader, to being a pretty powerful person in the World Beyond. And it's just kind of like, but it is what it is. We got to accept it, and that's okay. ultimately Jadis is going to be involved somehow, some way. Will she sacrifice herself to save Rick? Will she go after Rick to try and say, look, I didn't want him to do this, but I'm going to make it right, and she dies in the process? Is she going to continue to have bad haircuts? Probably, but it's ultimately a fun thing to discuss and talk about. And, in 4 weeks, we'll get to see, more and more of it, and we'll actually hopefully get some of these answers to our questions. Zenith Q&A, Brian, do you think Jadis is pointing her gun at Rick or Michonne in the woods? I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, maybe. I don't know what would be to gain from that. I just think she's pointing it at a gun. Her pointing her gun at a walker or something to take out the walker. Or I don't think she would, like, if she did anything to hurt Rick or Michonne, that would be pretty weak in my opinion. But I don't know if she's going to double cross the CRM and let them get away or what. But she's clearly going after them. In the trailer, she is in a Jeep or a truck or something, and she's going after the yellow SUV truck thing that's connected with Rick and Michonne. So who's driving? Is it Michonne? Is it Rick? Is it someone else? It makes sense that she could be there too if you put the two scenes together. But I don't know what they're actually trying to pull there too. So yeah. But other than that, guys, hopefully you're safe and sound. Like I said, we watched a little bit of Royal Rumble yesterday. We got football tonight. We have the Ravens versus the Chiefs, and we have the 49ers versus the Lions. If I was a betting man and I bet on football, I would have bet on the Ravens to play the 49ers weeks ago, and I would have bet the Ravens to win the Super Bowl because I think the Ravens are just the best all-around team. But that doesn't mean they'll win. The Chiefs can pull some Chief magic, some Taylor Swift magic. I don't know. She'll probably be there, I'm guessing. So we'll have to see who actually plays in the Super Bowl. So you have this Sunday, the 2 games. And then the next week is the Pro Bowl stuff, and then the following week is the Super Bowl. So that'll be pretty cool. And once we get there, it'll be 2 weeks away from the World Beyond. Phantom Deluxe Q&A, do you think Rick's ideals will clash with Major General Beale? Would it be interesting if he becomes anti-hero? So, Phantom, are you asking if Rick becomes an anti-hero? I would assume that Rick and Major General Beale are going to be opposites. I don't think they're going to be buddy-buddy. I don't know if Major General Beale is like a good guy, because Elizabeth Kublik, I think, was portrayed as a woman that has power, but feels bad for what she did at the campus colony and Omaha, and just like had to take them out because they were a threat. But she felt kind of bad because when she was looking at it, doing that, she breaks down, and then her one soldier guy, he breaks down for what they did, and he can't get past it, so then he gets committed. I wonder if we'll see him or anything like that too, or other soldiers that are like that, because I think there is a crisis of conscience in things when you have wartime stuff and you have to do bad stuff. I mean, there is things that you go through, and people are forced in this world of the zombie apocalypse in the Walking Dead universe, and not everyone is a psycho. Not everyone is going to be okay with the stuff that they had to do, especially if they were under orders from another person. So I think, and I hope that's viewed and talked about too. So World Beyond would, like I said, there's been a lot of talk about World Beyond because it's the most connections that we're going to see here probably in this show, because I don't know how many connections we're really going to have with the main show, but only time will tell, So it's definitely something that it'll be interesting to see. I'm super excited to see. I'm ready for, finally getting the answers. Yeah, I'm kind of glad Cody Rhodes won, too, for back-to-back Royal Rumbles. It was kind of cool. I was thinking like CM Punk would win or whatever, but it came down to that, and we'll have to see, what it leads to for the road to WrestleMania, what actually unfolds, because injuries happen too, We'll have to see what actually builds up for WrestleMania in April. That's in Philadelphia. Phantom Deluxe Q&A, if Walking chose to have fast-running zombies as the first showrunner imagined, do you think... you deleted your question. But yeah, I don't need fast zombies. I don't need, variant walkers. I don't need any of that stuff. That's just like nonsense in there too. So Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Roman Reigns, Department of Cannabis RX. Roman Reigns to me is a champion, but he needs help so much, and they're really pushing for him to break the record and doing this and do that, and I'm like, I think he's just a waste of the top spot. Like, I would rather see Cody or something like that be the top spot and have better matches and not be saved by his bloodline and all this nonsense. It just, I don't know. So actually, we watched a movie yesterday called Next Goal Wins, and it's based on a true story about the American Samoa soccer team that tries to qualify for the World Cup and blah, blah, blah. And it's based on a true story. So it's definitely something that you should watch if you like Taika Waititi's movies, because Michael Fassbender does a good job, and it's based on a true story, and I like soccer, so it was kind of cool to watch, and it was pretty funny. Taika does a great job with his movies, and I think he'd continue this with another funny movie too, but it's called Next Goal Wins. Joey Herbert, do you think that they could be faking us out about Rick's hand being missing since they know everyone's talking about it? Would it be the first time they fooled us in season 5, like in the season 5 trailer? So they could be. I don't know. We try to give them a lot of credit, and then try to give the fans a lot of credit, like all the time. Like, could they be messing with us? Could it be this? Could it be that? Could it be here? Like, it's definitely something that I don't care that much. Like, it's not that big. If Rick loses his hand, great. If he doesn't, great. I don't really care that much about it, but they could be. It's trailers, so they can edit things, and they've messed up on trailers before, and they kind of takes things out. Like, there's the one trailer for season 7 where they have it in the trailer, and they have this, and they have a car scene, and they have these things, boom, 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 and then they don't even air it in the show. There's definitely a thing with Dwight and the Saviors. They're going after another person, and there's a big car chase scene and a big thing here, and a big like that too, and that's never seen in the show. It's just in the trailer. And I have a whole video talking about it, many years ago on there as well, too. So, Phantom says, I was asking that the first showrunner wanted what the zombies would evolve into fast-running ones. Yeah, I mean, they could do whatever they wanted back then, but then the continuity and Frank Darabont. I think it's Frank Darabont's birthday today, too. I saw online, too. I think he's 65 or something like that, too. I was like, wow. He seems older than that, but 65, Frank Darabont did a great job. And without him, they probably wouldn't have had the success of The Walking Dead. But as for fast zombies and this zombies and that, just keep it, consistent. I don't care. If they were supposed to climb fences and do this and do that, then do it. But if they don't, then they don't. Just don't do different things, different times. Don't start changing stuff just because they want to do. I don't know. But when you have a showrunner and a new showrunner and this showrunner and that showrunner, when you have too many showrunners and too many cooks in the kitchen and too many hands in the cookie jar, it's usually not a good thing typically on there. So Walking Dead Universe, guys, it's still going strong. And I checked this today. Tomorrow is January 29th. And I started this channel, 9 years ago. And that'll be 9 years on YouTube tomorrow, which is crazy. So, my life was in a crazy place 9 years ago. Like, it wasn't in a good place, and it wasn't the best place it was. And I went on to YouTube, and I started doing this, and started doing that, and started doing more and more and more things. And then I eventually turned into, a YouTube channel for the Walking Dead Universe. And it was designed to be a physical therapy channel, because the PT channel was supposed to be like personal trainer, physical therapy, just nutrition, diet, exercise, health and wellness, Q&A, just to answer people's questions. And then it morphed into a universe of the Walking Dead channel, and it really opened up a lot of connections, and just meeting people and everything there too. And it's just crazy to think where I was 9 years ago, where I am today. And I'm truly thankful to be here, a part of your community and part of this thing. And it's one of those things where you can just do it, man. It doesn't take a lot of you have to get lucky. You have to be hardworking. You have to continue to learn, grow, change, adapt, and keep, working hard towards whatever your goals are. And don't give up. Take breaks, no matter what it is. And, I've tried to stay positive with things, and I've had ups and downs and all arounds. But without the bad, I can't appreciate the good. And so it's one of those things where, where I was 9 years ago compared to where I am now, I'm just very thankful that I'm still here and I'm doing things with the YouTube universe, your Walking Dead community, the YouTube community, and just being part of that, and being a full-time physical therapist with a pretty good company so far, and it's just making pretty good things, just coming back around again. So, I'm proof that you can do it. And, the Walking Dead universe ain't the same what it was. It was so good in its peak when I started in season 6 really making videos. I wish I started a couple seasons earlier. I probably would have hit my goal of 100,000 subscribers. I probably would have had more success and more things here and there. But I feel like I am always usually like late to the party with things, but I don't miss the party, and I'll take that. It's very rare to be on the ground floor of stuff. It's very rare to be involved with so many things where it is, And again, I didn't even watch The Walking Dead when it first aired. In 2010, I graduated physical therapy school in 2009. A year later was The Walking Dead was on television. I didn't even have cable. I had antenna television and I had internet. And I remember watching stuff. I was watching Hulu because they had shows on there, and I went to the website hulu.com, and I would watch episodes, and they had episodes up, but you would watch ads every now and again. But I could only get a couple channels, CBS, NBC, ABC occasionally, I think Fox sometimes too. Like, it wasn't really good. So I didn't have AMC, and I didn't watch it there. It was my wife and I, was girlfriend at the time, now wife, we were watching The Walking Dead later. It was coming out for season 3 when we started watching it on television. We watched the first 2 seasons, and we fell in love with the show, and we're excited to watch it. And it was good because we were watching the episodes, back to back there. And then season 3 came out, and then you had to wait a week. And I was like, this sucks, waiting a week, But that's how normal stuff was. People who watch Netflix, people who watch this, people who watch that, and all the episodes or half of the episodes, or Hulu and stuff sometimes has shows where all the episodes are available when they come out. And people can watch all 8, 10 episodes and be done. And then, boop, see you later. Watch that, spoil it for everybody. And it's kind of annoying because what if someone, like Stranger Things, people will watch all of Stranger Things when it came out because Netflix will put all the episodes up. And they, I can't believe this happened. I can't believe that happened. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, I didn't even watch the first episode yet. You have to worry about spoilers like that too. And now that The Walking Dead's over and the main show is over, and then they have the other spinoffs that are week to week to week to week. So we get to find out stuff, on a weekly basis too. So. Brian asks, what do you think happened to the CR, Rick and Michonne and Dead City's timeline? I don't know. Rick's timeline was he went away, and then he got caught up with stuff. Hopefully he was taken care of and, clearly fine and healed up and patched up, and then got a job and got some training and all that stuff too. And so it had to be so much time, like 5-6 years for that. And then again, because Michonne was looking for him for so long. Judith got older. Magnus group came around. So I don't know what he was actually doing there besides healing up, getting patched up, and having physical therapy or something, whatever, again, and being able to go up in the ranks. And he did. And I don't know where the current timeline is, if it's going to end with the timeline being caught up with The Walking Dead at the end, or it's going to be the end of the first episode. Well, I just don't know. I don't know how it's going to actually play out too. So it's hard to say. SPK says TV shows years ago were better. You had The Shield, Sons of Anarchy. Well, I mean, it's just different. Like, there's always shows that come and go. Like, The Sopranos was 25 years ago. It came on television. And then Breaking Bad came out, and this came out, and that came out. Like shows, and then Modern Family was a great show. Like, there's a lot of good shows And it's hard to say, years ago was better. It's just different. Like, TV is adapted and changed over, I feel like TV has jumped leaps and bounds because I'm not a writer and not part of the Screen Actors Guild or anything there too, but I would assume like writing for TV was thought of as not as good as writing for movies or writing for this. And now TV shows, streaming shows, series is great because you have way more time for character development. They have way more stuff to be able to put in there too. Like if you have to force a movie for 2 hours, you have to do character introduction. What's the problem? What's this? What's that? What's going on here? Problem, resolution, another problem, final resolution, movie's over. Are we going to have trilogies? Are there going to be multiple stuff? Is there going to be stuff like that too? Now with shows, you can do that and don't even blink an eye. I wouldn't say it's Walking Dead, but other TV shows have had great character development. Like Breaking Bad is a great universe that builds characters up, puts them down, help characters you didn't like, characters you don't like, and there's such variance each season, and it's kind of cool. Game of Thrones, Sopranos, just like so many TV shows that are there, you can put the time, energy, and effort into it, and it pays off too, which is great. Movies, I'd rather watch, sometimes a 20-minute long episode than an hour and a half TV show. Like sometimes I was like, I got a half hour. What can I watch for a half hour? Oh, I have an hour. I have exactly an hour. I'll watch 2 episodes, or I'll watch 2 different shows, or I'll watch that instead of trying to watch, a movie that's an hour and a half because I don't have that long before I have to, take a shower, get ready for bed, clean up the house, make sure the cats are okay, and then start my day the next day. So it's one of those things where I have a limited time, and shows that are 45 minutes or less, it sometimes works out better for me, so I can watch that. And I can watch an episode a day, and I can, stretch it out, which works better for me. Some people like to watch movies or that, or, at the end of the day, it comes down to writing. It comes down to it being just good quality television and to care about the characters. Before I was coming on the stream, I was on YouTube and I watched the trailer for Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor, and it's like a reboot, remake. Like I don't know what you would actually call it because it's not the same thing. I think he's actually Dalton is Jake Gyllenhaal, but the trailer looks really good. It's a bar in Key West and this and that, and he's a UFC fighter, and it just works out pretty good. And it looks good in the trailer at least too. So, it's not one of those things where they're trying to remake it exactly. They updated it and they did the right kind of changing with it, which, they look like they're doing it in the right way, but it looks pretty good. It comes out in March on Amazon Prime. It looks like an Amazon movie, so it looks pretty good there. And I know there's a show called Code 8, or it's a movie, movie or show. But the first one was with Steve Amell and Robbie Amell. It's a Netflix. I want to say it's a show, but I feel like it's like a movie. And there's a second one coming out. I don't know if it's February or March, but it's called Code 8. And they have like powers, and it looks pretty cool. And it's definitely something that I definitely want to check out. Yeah, I would love to see Sam Elliott have a cameo. Like any of the people from the first movie have a cameo. And of course, Patrick Swayze can't. But because he's definitely so cool that it looks okay, I said it before. I like Reacher. Reacher was a good movie, a good TV show. First 2 seasons are good. I believe the third season, they've said which book it's going to be about and this and that, and he's going to be undercover or something. So don't try to reinvent the wheel like with stuff season after season after season. But let us see what they do. The source material is the source material. And the show is the show, the comic is the comic, and the book is the book, So we'll have to see how it's going down too. So Brian asks, why do you think Carol goes to find Daryl by herself? In real life, that wouldn't happen. Exactly. So that's another thing that doesn't make sense to me, is that Carol would go by herself to find Daryl. And yeah, maybe it's easier to blend in, but it's dangerous, right? Carol is a badass woman, and she's great, but she's by herself. And what if she met a group that has, 10 people? Carol's great and all, but 10 against 1 isn't a good numbers. So why wouldn't you have the Commonwealth? How could she just leave her position, by the way, too? Hopefully it's explained. But again, I'm not trying to figure out this show in this universe anymore like I was in early season 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm trying to figure stuff out. Now it's I just take it with a grain of salt. I watch it. I laugh. I see how good it is, bad it is, dumb it is, makes sense. Does it work? Does it not? So far, the spinoffs have made sense. Dead City, I could believe it. I could buy into it for as much as it is. Daryl show, I could believe it, buy into it for as much as it is, and it's okay, right? So now that Carol's coming into the fold, will it help or hurt the show? I think it's going to help the show because Carol and Daryl together are amazing. I think Melissa and Norman are great friends, and they really work well with each other, and you could tell the love for each other that's there. But ultimately, that will be the time, we'll have to see with that. So no word on that, no word on anything there too. We don't even know just when that show is going to be, coming out. I'm guessing it's going to be an October show, if not a summer show. But the Maggie and Negan show, that's filming in March, and it's 6 episodes again, most likely. So if it's 2 weeks per episode, that's 12 weeks, which will be 3 months. And then, so that's March, April, May, maybe into June a little bit for them filming. And then they have to do post-production and all that stuff. And yeah, because it was a year ago that the Rick and Michonne show were going to start filming. I think it was February 2023. And now it's coming out a year later. So will the Dead City show premiere a year later next February? Or are they going to try to push it the end of the year? I don't know what their plan is. There's no way to tell that just yet. And then are we going to get other spinoffs in there too is the big question as well. So yeah, I'm not trying to buy, like Brian says, what's thoughts on Michonne's sacrifice line? I'm not worried about sacrificing who's going to live, who's going to die. I'm just going to watch how it's going to go because I'm not trying to figure out this stuff anymore. I'm just going to take it with a grain of salt, see things I can figure out. Anything that's potentially gets spoiled, I'll share the news with you guys, and that's kind of what it is. But I'm excited to find out in 4 weeks, So in 4 weeks, guys, it seems like it's so long from now, but it'll be here before you know it. January, I don't know how you guys feel about January, but January to me sucks. It's one of those long months after we just had some holidays and some good times in November and December. If it's cold and icy and snowy and bad weather and all this crap, I don't have a time off that's designed from the office for an actual holiday until May. So I'm going to be taking off a day here in February, and I got to take some time in March for appointments and stuff. But you don't take any time off there until May, and it's kind of crazy. And January is such a long month. So February is the shortest month, and then we'll be, next thing you know, once it's the end of February, it'll be here. January will end. February 25th is The Walking Dead World, the Ones Who Live. That starts, and then it'll be 6 weeks, and it'll be over. And then we'll be asking the question, what's next? What's next? What's next? And I would assume, it would be highly unlikely, you never know, but it would be highly unlikely that Gimple, Andy, and Denai don't have a plan for this series. That is their series, right? It's definitely their doing. because this is uncharted territory. You know, there's no comic source material that Michonne goes to find Rick with CRM and Jadis and this. And, you know, there's none of this stuff. This is them writing stuff for them to find each other. And it's crazy because if you think about it, it's the ones who live. So are they both going to live? Are they both going to survive? Right? Because we're the ones who live. 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 That's what it said at the end of the Walking Dead main show. So it's like, okay, does that mean like, yes, we die, but we live on through our teaching, through our people, through our kids, through our knowledge, through our experience, through our something? Like, is that kind of the bigger meaning of it, or do they actually live? I mean, like, there's just no way to tell, but it's an interesting title. But I just find it hard to believe that they don't have some sort, if not a good idea, of what they're doing with this. Like, it would be like, come on, guys, like, get your act together. You have all this time to work together. Is Denai really like, you got me for 6 episodes? Andy's like, you got me for 6 episodes? That's it. And then I'm done. You know? So we'll have to see. I mean, I'm sure they don't want to give anything away, but hopefully it works. John, do you think Rick is a CRM soldier when Michonne gets brought in as a prisoner, like Rick was in the CRM, because there's photos of her in the same jacket? So I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, no one's gone until they're gone type of thing. Like, oh, we killed off Madison, but no one's gone till we're gone, so we'll bring her back. Was she a COP? Like, it's just so stupid. Like, and don't get me wrong. Like, I believe in a higher message and bigger things. Like, if you lose a friend or a family member or something, like, they're not gone unless you stop remembering them or thinking about them. Like, their body's gone, but their soul lives on type of thing, and they live through you. And you know, I've lost family members and friends, and there's times that I think about them all the time. Like, I've lost people in high school and college, and right before I went to grad school and after college and after grad school and stuff, and I think about them from time to time. So they're not really gone unless they're gone, you know, type of thing, you know. So, but I don't know. I don't know if Michonne's going to get caught and Rick's this, or Michonne she gets to like a place and blends in with the jacket. So like, I could see Michonne getting captured and then she has to she has to work like that. Or she sneaks in with people, takes the jackets and blends in that way type of thing. So she goes undercover, if you will, and sneaks in with the jackets. Because I would assume like it would be pretty much spot on and makes sense to me, in my opinion, that Michonne finds people that have people in the CRM that they want to get their family back, their kids, their parents, their loved ones, their spouse, their brother, their sister, their aunt, their uncle, whoever. Grandma's there, the CRM somehow or something, right? So they have to go in and get in there. And they know it'll be interesting to see how it comes together with Rick, Michonne in there too. And, you know, I don't think it's going to be what's going to happen exactly, but I'm excited to find out. Like, it's got my interest. And I hope it has your interest. And I would assume if you're in this stream today, you are interested in the show. Because it just makes sense to be like, we want answers, right? We want to know what Rick has been up to. Is Rick going to lose his hand? Rick and Michonne find each other, then what? Now what? Because when it became the Rick and Michonne show, they have to find each other, and it's an epic love story of this and that and blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. But Rick and Michonne find each other, then what? Because if they get away, will the CRM go hunt them? Like, is that how it ends? Rick and Michonne get away. The CRM is not destroyed, but injured, hurt, impacted greatly by what Rick and Michonne do. But then Rick and Michonne can't go. Well, how would they know about the Commonwealth, right? If they do, how would they know about their group being there? Like, it would be really cool if Carol... So, like, I doubt this is going to happen, but this is how I would write it. Carol has Lance Hornsby's job. She is connected with the CRM, the Commonwealth, whoever, multiple groups, multiple things, And she goes there to be the representative with Mercer to talk to Major General Beale or somebody like that. She sees Rick and Michonne there, or at least Rick. She can't say anything to Rick because that would be a problem. But they know each other there. They get message to each other and they do that. And then Rick knows about the Commonwealth and finds out about it and then leads a revolution and stuff that way. But I don't think that's going to happen in the show, but that's how I would write it. Because it's just so unlikely that the Commonwealth doesn't know about the CRM and vice versa. Like, it makes no sense to me that the CRM is the also, the other thing that's hilarious is we're the last light in this world or something like that too. We're the last light or something they say. They clearly have a line about being the last light in this world. And their uniforms are black. The absence of light, which is hilarious. All their uniforms are complete black. There's no color in it whatsoever. We are the last light in this world. Yeah. Then why do you look like total darkness? And why do you look like the evil empire? And the, it just looks terrible. Like, it's just laughable. And it's ultimately, I think they're trying to do good or whatever. Like, it's just dumb. But I just find that pretty funny. So exactly, right? So people would find the CRM, the drums of gasoline and their weapon depots and their trucks and their this and their that, because they're all over the world. They're all over the country. They're all over. We saw the things on the world beyond. There was multiple weapons caches and depots and oil reserves and whatever. Like, it was a bunch of stuff. It would be all over, right? So it's like you could see it. So after all these years in the zombie apocalypse, there would be survivors. There would be people there to survive, and they would be this, and they'd be brought into places on there too. So I don't know how people couldn't find out more and more and more about it. Clearly, the CRM is taking people in and bringing people in, because how do they have the biggest, military in there too? And why do they have the biggest military? Like, besides killing the walkers, who are they fighting? Like, is there another group out there? Is there another military out there? Because, yeah, you have Apache helicopters and Humvees and military trucks and huge planes and probably tanks and jeeps and motorcycles and everything, right? But who are you going against? Like, yeah, people, but I don't know. It's just like kind of a crazy thing. And yeah, there'd be a group of militia and this and that and, a ragtag group of people. But ultimately, who are you fighting against too? Yeah, that's a good question. SPK asks, will they ever make a spinoff on the formation of the CRM, a younger Major General Beale? Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. I wish that's what the World Beyond was. The World Beyond could have been 6-7 seasons of that. Like, Fear the Walking Dead was total nonsense, and that got 8 seasons. The World Beyond, that actually connects with the CRM, that we would want to find out more information about, that would love to be answering questions, got 20 episodes. And you forced Jadis in there, and you forced stuff in there, and you connected the dots a little bit, but not enough. Like, that should have been probably 4 or 5 seasons, talked about the CRM, talked about day one, talked about the formation of this, talked about these people being military stuff and the world falling apart. It's just like another opportunity that they could have expanded upon. And if they did stuff, like, I don't know. It is what it is. It's just one of those things that you're like, man. So that's why I love my book series. So my wife has to read the final chapter of the book. I'm wrapping up the cover. I did a lot of cover stuff this morning. I have the potential concept of the cover. I put it on Patreon. I put it on Facebook and our Fight For Us group and our page or whatever it actually is. and I have that ready to go for that. My wife has to finish the last chapter, and then I'm going to go through the book, and then I'll have it out in February. That's the goal, was to have it out in February. So I'm excited to have it, and yeah, I love. So if you don't know, Fight for Us is a book series about a zombie apocalypse set in the future. This will be the 20th book coming out next month is the plan. So 20 books of that, and then I have 3 books of In 100 Days, which is the prequel to Fight for Us, and it connects the dots with some of the story. Not the major characters in Fight for Us, but I don't want to give anything away. But some of the characters can show up and probably will show up in the Fight for Us series, and kind of vice versa thing. But it's just kind of cool that I think it's a rewarding way of storytelling. When you're reading stuff like, oh, this explains things a little bit more, right? So like in The Walking Dead, you have the CRM, the Civic Republic, Elizabeth Kublik, Major General Beale, this and that. Like the Major General Beale connection was he has a son that was at the school where Hope and Iris are, and this and that. And you're like, oh, Silas and Elton, and okay, they get to meet him, and then they take him hostage, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, right? Like what? That's it. Then we see a newspaper that talks about it a little bit more and talks about things. And there's an episode on World Beyond that shows Huck and her military group, whether the Marines or whatever, that they are going there and they're fighting the walkers, which is cool. I wish we saw more of that. Like, it's not too much to ask to give us a little more details in it. Even if it was a limited series. Like, give me 6 or 8 more episodes of that. Give me 4 episodes. I don't care. 45 minutes an episode. That's an hour and a half. That's 90 minutes. That's like, 3 hours of more information. That would be pretty cool. I think it'd be pretty cool too, so. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, so I don't know how it's going to be, but, John asks, would you rather Rick cuts hand off to survive escape or have Beale be the one to remove it as punishment? Well, if you're a comic person, you want to have, well, I don't know if you want that. If you're a comic person, you're probably like, Rick has to lose his hand, and he does it by the governor chops his hand off in the comic. Now, if you're not a comic person, you probably don't care. You probably don't want Rick to lose his hand, but I don't know. Like I would kind of like to see him chop his own hand off to survive. I don't know. That's just what jumps out at me. If he loses his hand, is it punishment or how to escape too? So A1 ABZZ. Do you think we will see or hear mentioned Portland and the cities in the world beyond? I hope so. Right? Like. I think so. I'm like that's little things like that. I'm hoping that they talk about the experiments, A and B, Portland, Omaha, Campus Colony, New York, Philadelphia. I just hope they talk about things like that too. Like I hope that's a thing that they make it rewarding that we watch the people that watched The World Beyond. Just connect the dots a little bit more. Give us a reward so it's not like it doesn't feel like a waste of time. Like, I really enjoy that in shows, movies, whatever. It's just a cool thing to have callbacks, connections, Easter eggs like that. And that's what I try to do in my book series time and time again because I enjoy that. And if I enjoy that, hopefully others will too. And it's just a nice thing that you're connected. It feels like your universe is bigger than what you are. It just seems cool. Like, I don't know. It just seems like it's a kind of a small world type of thing. Like, oh, remember that? Remember that? Oh, yeah, remember that? Oh, yeah, remember that? And I think we're going to have a lot of callbacks in The Ones Who Live. Like, Rick is going to wake up in bed. He's going to look to his right. There's going to be flowers there. It's going to be a callback to when he was in the hospital at some point, right? So I think we're going to see they're going to play with time in The Ones Who Live, I'm guessing. Because it's got to be Rick gets there, Jadis, this. Rick probably wakes up in a hospital, but this, that's how I would write it too. Like, Rick wakes up in a hospital. He looks to his right. He sees flowers, but they're not dead. They're alive. And it's quiet, and he looks around, and then a nurse comes in, and it's like, oh, okay, we're okay. Seems familiar, but it's different. The same, but different. Different, but the same, too. So ultimately, guys, thank you guys for being here. I truly appreciate it. Again, like I said before, tomorrow is my 9th year anniversary on YouTube. That's crazy to think about it, too. So, everybody wants to have a good life and good things and material possessions and be happy and be this and be that. But it takes time. You have good times, bad times, ups and downs, and you can't have the good without the bad and vice versa. That's how I feel. And, putting the time in with it, you will be rewarded in life, no matter what it is, too. And my reward for doing it for 9 years, tomorrow on YouTube, is to be with an awesome community like yourself, to be involved with you guys for 9 years, and hopefully I definitely want to make 10 years at least. That'd be great. And I would really love to make that 100,000 subscribers by 10 years. But it's a fun thing. So I'm no different than you. You can do it, whatever it is. I truly, honestly believe that. Like, figure out what you want to do, figure out a plan, implement it, and get it done. It ain't going to be quick. It ain't going to happen yesterday. But you'll be back. You'll be doing it. So I'll be back next Sunday, guys. Enjoy football. If you're watching it tonight, hopefully your team wins. But remember, guys, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And remember, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals. Believe in yourself. You can do it no matter what it is. Thank you, guys. I'll be back next Sunday, and see you guys.